free. That's right, get a free preview of how to flip houses for easy profits. Click the Academy button to begin your path to wealth.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm from Florida. I just wanted to take a quick minute and do a video for Peter and the Academy for one reason, and that's because of results. You know, when I first ran into his Real Estate Investing Academy, I was pretty skeptical, and I'd been thinking about flipping houses for a while, and I got to say, for someone who's done more than 3,000 flips like Peter, that's pretty impressive. And the Academy, it's different. You know, most gurus, they just jam you into a hotel conference room for a weekend, and then they cut you loose. And honestly, I'm not sure how anyone can build a business in just one weekend. And what I like most about Peter's Academy is there are 3 hours of training videos from marketing and negotiating and deal management and how to find investors, you know, to fund your deals. Peter's got my back. I can ask him questions anytime and get help in his forum. Thanks, Pete.
Hi, Peter Vexelman here. So I just got done doing a meeting which made me think of doing this video actually. And here's kind of how the meeting went. It was actually with one of my sales guys that was just trying to bring me some more opportunities to look at. And he was bringing me opportunities not in terms of a particular property to do a deal with, but he was bringing me this opportunity about a particular strategy, these people he ran across. And he was telling me, his name is Willie, and Willie was telling me, man, we could do this, and you could do this, and this could be great. And I just started asking him some questions about these individuals who he was talking to, or about. And then, you know, I've been doing this long enough, pretty much at this point in my career, I could almost tell who's BSing me or who's telling me reality. So I could tell that whatever these guys were telling Willie probably was not all 100% what they were saying. So I told to Willie, I said, Willie, let me tell you, this is what you do. You go back to her and you tell her this: show me something definite. Show me something concrete. Show me an actual deal. And so here's my point. In this business, it is very easy for us as investors to spend a lot of time doing a lot of things and then in the end have absolutely nothing to show for it. And I know you've probably been there. Some of you may be there right now. You're chasing this, you're chasing that, you're chasing this. You're trying to do this strategy, this deal, and that deal. And in the end, whoever's drawing you to those things, who's ever drawing you to those strategies, who's ever drawing you to those deals, in the end, what happens, they're just not legitimate people, and there's no meat on those bones. So this is what I've learned many years ago that has saved me tremendous amount of time and money, and this will save you a tremendous amount of time and money. When people are out there telling you or showing you something that you need to be doing, and it potentially actually looks pretty good, looks pretty profitable, looks like a legitimate opportunity, here's what you tell those people: show me something concrete. Show me an actual deal. Show me an actual opportunity. Let's look at it together. See, when you start doing that, you will right away distinguish from those that are talking, and they're kind of just the same mode you're in. They're hoping and wishing, to those, which is, by the way, it's a very big percentage. Most of them are here, but to those few opportunities that are actually legit. So before you go out in a wild goose chase, before you go in this wild tangent, before you start chasing something without validity or proof that it works, who's ever bringing you those deals, who's ever bringing you those opportunities, simply tell them this: show me something concrete. Or another way I like to say it: show me something I could hang my hat on. Okay? Same stuff. And when that happens, you'll be amazed how 98% of the things that you'll be wasting your time with simply disappear. But the 2% out here, you could then start focusing on the things that are legitimate that could put you in a position where you're actually going to be making a lot more money. Remember, use those words and you'll be very shocked how to separate the 98%ers from the 1 or 2%ers. I hope that helps. Hey, Peter Vexelman. So today I want to talk to you about kind of a cliche, but the thing about cliches is it feels like you always have to hear them over and over and over again for them to really make sense and sink in. And the other thing I want to talk to you about is just this whole concept about when do you actually kill a deal. You know, our philosophy here is that we never kill deals. Literally, we never kill deals unless the deal is sold or something happens that we know will be totally out of our control. Sometimes we find out that whoever's trying to sell us the property is not the actual owner. But anything short of that, all of our deals stay alive. So I thought the best way to explain this, kind of keep the hope alive and never give up, and when do you kill a deal? Let me talk to you about an actual deal that we just closed here a couple days ago. And here's kind of the HUD on it. And it was on McAfee Road. And it was a deal that we flipped and did a wholesale deal on and made a quick $6,500 for. So what I did on my computer screen, I took some major notes, so some major bullet points that happened along the way. But I can tell you, for every one of these major bullet points, there's a ton of subpoints. Now, interestingly enough, as I'm doing this, today is December 28th. The deal actually started in May. So think about it, this is months. How many deals do you have in your pipeline right now that are literally, 7, 8, 9 months old? So the one thing is, I'll encourage you, do not let the length of a closing determine that the deal dies. So many times investors go like, well, I couldn't get it done in the first 3 weeks, so the deal's dead. I couldn't get it done in the first month and a half, so the deal's dead. So many times how long it takes you to close has very little to do with whether it'll close. It started in May 2005. The seller, within the next 4 weeks, went literally MIA for us. And when they go MIA for us, when our sellers disappear, we put some pressure on them. We get our attorneys involved, we lien the properties, we get demand letters out and all that. Well, so we went through that process. Nothing, no response, couldn't get a hold of them. So, when we try to kind of push the seller there, it had no effect. Interestingly enough, then in October, okay, so May, June, July, September, October. So 5 months later, and remember, we kept the deal alive. We still made some kind of process every once in a while, try to reconnect. Finally, 5 months later in October, we're able to reconnect with the seller, and the seller basically agreed to sell us the property, okay? So now this is a deal that we were gonna wholesale. So this is not a deal necessarily I wanted to take title to and own for an extended period of time. So guess what else had to happen in October? When we were in May, wanting to do the deal, we had a buyer for it. Guess what? In October, we had to start looking for a new buyer again. So now, we're 5, 6 months into the deal. We're starting the marketing process all over again. We're finding the buyer. Well, guess what? A month later, the seller goes MIA, but this time, we're able to track him down to no less than the federal prison. So the guy gets put in prison. Well, when that happened, we then had to figure out who his attorneys were, and we had to start working with his attorneys. So for the next couple months, we worked for his attorneys. Now, interestingly enough, it says in that process, he actually switched attorneys. So one of his attorneys went MIA on us, became missing. We reconnected with a new attorney, and finally, December 22nd, we closed this deal. That's a 7, 8 month old deal that had the possibility of dying several times in that process. So keep the hope alive. What's the concept there? In this business, nothing is ever dead. We literally, in all our dead files, once a month, reconnect with all of them. So the sellers that told us no on deals we were working towards, the deals that fell apart, before closings that we couldn't close. So once a month, we're constantly reconnecting. We're keeping our hope alive for every single one of these deals, because these deals happen to us literally. And again, our pipeline's very big now, but they constantly happen to us on a weekly basis. So that's the great thing about this business. Short of some unbelievable circumstances, like the property gets sold from underneath you, which does happen, or like I said, maybe the seller's not the true seller. Anything other than that, this is why it's so important to keep your pipeline going, because anything other than those extenuating circumstances, it gives you hope. It gives you hope that the 50 deals that you have in that pipeline, the debt pipeline, as long as you're constantly reconnecting, at any point in time, they can reconnect. Second thing is, never ever kill a deal. This is a perfect example. You never ever kill a deal. MIA going missing on us, his attorney's missing on us, not responding to demand letters, not responding to lawsuits, not responding to liens on the property, ends up in federal prison, and guess what? We're still able to close that deal. What a great business we're in, that you always have the ability to keep the hope alive if your pipeline is big enough, and never ever kill any deal unless something extenuating happens.